The New York Times had an article a few years ago titled 36 Questions to Fall in Love, and it was filled with questions for partners to ask each other to help build deeper relationships. We've been in a series called Messy, which takes a look into the messiness of the early church in the city of Corinth. This past weekend, we actually looked at a set of questions asked by the people of that church that had a lot to do with relationships, specifically marriage. One theme in particular is still getting asked about today: divorce. The biblical answer to the question, can I ever separate from my spouse, is a bit of a bombshell. But for those who are married, I have a command that does not come from me, but from the Lord. A wife must not leave her husband, but if she does leave him, let her remain single or else be reconciled to him, and the husband must not leave his wife. These words were written by a man named Paul, an early leader of the church called to that role specifically by Jesus. But Paul's words here on divorce are actually from Jesus himself. In one of his largest and most famous teachings, Jesus said this about divorce: "It has been said, anyone who divorces his wife must give her a certificate of divorce. But I tell you that anyone who divorces his wife, except for marital unfaithfulness, causes her to commit adultery, and anyone who marries a woman so divorced commits adultery." Jesus pushed back on the easy button mentality of divorce that ran rampant in his day, and still does in ours. People could and would divorce over anything, even something as simple as, "I just don't want to be married anymore." This was important for Jesus to address because women didn't have any defense against a divorce and would often be left to turn to prostitution or begging just to survive. In fact, this topic was so confusing and intimate that Jesus is very specific in his teaching on it. You can catch up on this weekend's message and hear more about that teaching by watching Meck's YouTube or the on-demand library on Meck's website. Let me end by saying that if you are divorced or going through one, my heart breaks for the anguish and pain you may have experienced or are currently experiencing. Divorce should not be taken lightly, but it's not the unforgivable sin, and there can be forgiveness in it, just like anything else.